What's up, everybody? This is your favorite Savage Jordan. I'm going to teach y'all how to plant peach trees and fruit trees and whatever y'all else y'all need. So here we go. So what I got here is a actual peach, what we would like to call a majestic. So I've only had it for a week. So this is what it looks like. So what I've done is when I got it from the store, which when I got it, it was brittle. It was completely dry. And so when I brought it over here to the house, I put it in the backyard and made sure that make sure that you get full sun. What that means is there's nothing around it. There should be no canopies, and that's why we're having some trees removed today. So there's gonna be that one being removed. I try to do that one, but I don't think they'll do that. And so I was needing that one done too, but it's not gonna happen. So this is gonna be our main one. I got 3 more in the backyard, and then another back here. See, it's already blooming. I've only had it a week. So what you need to focus on is it needs to get a lot of water. And so the way I dug my trench, I dug it like a trench, to be honest. And so this is what it's gonna look like. Super shitty, but I need some more dirt. So it should be fine. You just gotta make sure that it doesn't come out brittle. So how you gonna check if it's brittle or not is you're gonna pull it. If it starts to crack at all, that means it's still not getting enough water. Well, obviously this one's getting water, because look at it. So that's what I'd like to show y'all, is you need to have a lot of airflow, which eventually I'm gonna have to turn this into an open vase. And then once it starts to produce, I'll have to probably start finding different areas to plant all the peach pits that I'm gonna get from it. So what you need to know is shit like this, what I'm doing right here, this is probably the poorest example out of all of them. Just need some more dirt. So what I did is when I put it in here, since I'm in a what they like to call zone 6 out of the USDA, this is going to be a lot of clay. You're going to be dealing with a lot of clay here, and most of the grass that y'all get is mostly sod. So what you're supposed to do is dig down at least 2 feet, which is not going to be a problem at all, because once it starts growing, once it gets to a certain length, all that clay and rock is going to stop it, and so it's going to always be at a certain size. So it's kind of perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go look at the other one. Now this is my favorite one out of all of them, and so I'll go ahead and explain while I'm walking over there. When you get trees like this from the store, I got this over at a simple hardware store, Atwoods, places like that. I got mine here in Bristow. Once you get it, when it's probably the last 2 weeks, that's when you should start planting it, because there's going to be a lot of frost. And to be honest, if you get too much frost and water, you start to kill it. So here's the other one. Already started to prune it. So on this one's probably the best one out of the group. I had to prune it a couple times because it's already leaning in one direction, so I didn't want to make it too bad. But when you get these ones that are in pots, like it comes in a potted soil and pot that comes from the store, what you're going to do is you're going to take a what was it called, a razor blade? I took a knife and just cut down the sides of it all the way around, at least 2 inches apart, to get all the roots out, because they're all going to be in a little loop. When they start growing in that what would it be, that pot, a little pot that it comes in, I have no idea what that's called. I'm native, so I'm kind of retarded. So when I first got it, all the roots were all in loops, and so I cut every 2 inches on the sides, and I could have did the bottom, but I didn't want it to go too far down to the bottom, because I don't need it to get that big. Well, if it gets too high, you're going to need a ladder, and you're going to have to get the fuck up there, all that shit. So I don't have that kind of equipment, so I need it to stunt a little. And so that's why I'm going to make sure that when we get back over here, Make sure when you dig it into, don't pack it down at all, especially with clay, because it'll suffocate all the roots. And so on this one, it's coming along just perfectly. It's kind of cold out. It's probably like what, 40, 318, so it's like 40 degrees, and it just rained last night, so I got a lot of water last night. So you're gonna have to focus on a whole lot of the roots. The roots are gonna be the most important part of that whole tree, because once it starts getting circulated into the ground, it's gonna start producing. And peach trees especially start producing very quickly, like not even probably 1 to 2 years. And you're actually gonna have to start focusing on training it, because you're gonna have to prune it a lot, because once it gets to a certain size, if you don't prune it, it'll be so hard to get to the other peaches. And then on top of that, you're gonna have a lot of foliage that's making the tree go into, well, it's not gonna go into production. That's what you need it to do. You need to produce fruit. And so if you have a bunch of foliage around it, it's not gonna go into fruit, it's gonna go straight into branches. And so if you cut off all the branches to it, then it's gonna produce nothing but fruit. And so you can already see that I've already got a lot going. And so, I mean, it's only been a week and it's already fucking sprouting. And so these ones over here, I got these from Kentucky. I'm not too sure about them, to be honest, because they're already it's still brittle. That's how you can check it. Just pull it down. If it cracks at all, that means it's being suffocated, or it's not got enough water. But mostly it's just it's dying. That's what it really means. If it does not bend at all like this one's a good one. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it or not, but as long as these two grow, I can just start over, to be honest. And it'll only be like 2 or 3 years before it'll get to where their parents are at. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is going around making sure that they're not all brittle. And so I just planted them like a week ago. The soil here is extremely clay. Like, I'm talking almost brick. Also, next time I get a chance, I'll show you what I mean. Like, it's almost like a brick. It's how hard the clay is. And so you're gonna have to actually do something to the soil. Which I just added sugar. Like, instead of doing the carbohydrate to proton ratio, I just skipped all that and just threw some sugar into the soil, and it went straight into production, because it means it doesn't have to go into, it doesn't have to produce as hard. See, look at this one. This one's almost dead, dude. This just came right off. It's not that brittle, but keep an eye on it. Fuck. Here's the other one. It's way back here. We're just gonna check and see if it's brittle. No, it's good. So I got these from Kentucky. They gave me 5 roots? 5 peach dwarf roots. I just planted them as soon as probably like 3 days after I got them. And they have to go directly into the ground. They have to start absorbing, or they'll get brittle quickly. You can't just add water to them. My thing is, I went and got regular take root and put it all, like, before I even put them into the hole, I actually put some took root and stuck it in there with it, because it needs to start producing roots fast, so it can start collecting energy, which I cut that down in half since I added some sugar. So now, be very careful with adding sugar. I can do that because I knew when to add it. When the soil was dry, and before it rained, especially, because once you add it while it's raining, dude, it'll go right into a fungus. Like, it'll start getting spoiled pretty fast. And so that's what I was going to teach y'all for today, was how to check your trees, how to get them into the soil, which it's not even that hard. You make sure you just do a 3 yard diameter. I did it in a box. I needed it to collect water. Like I dug it into like a trench like state. So that's what it looks like. That one, kind of like a little trench where all the water is gonna fall in. That's what I was needing. And then on top of that, if you have any extra fruit or any type of organic substance, especially like lettuce, apples, or anything, just throw it in there with it. It absolutely cuts down the production time because they're absorbing all the decay off of the dead shit that you just ate. So it's kind of like a compost, but really they're feeding off of that decay, and it really needs that. And so that's why I made sure to, on this one over here, dude, it barely took anything at all. I just had to cut it. And so I was just wanting to let y'all know how to do this. If y'all need any questions about how to do fruit trees, or especially what kind you got, what kind you get is absolutely important. Because if you don't, I went and got, what was it called? Rich Joy? A Rich Joy peach, which is it's supposed to be a USD 7. I'm at USD 6. USDA 6. Sorry. So I should have 7 peach trees, 1 apple, and 1 grape. That box, that little black container is the grape, and that one over there is the apple. You need to keep, especially the grapes, you need to keep them separate because it's not going to go into vine. If it goes into vine, that means it's got a competitor, and that means it's going to go into vine and pull whatever competitor it has down to the ground. And I've actually heard of that being done where they put a grape tree down and it turned into a vine and then went up the tree and then started to pull it down because it's a competitor. And all these trees that I got are competing against the grass that's around it. And so you need to think of it like that. That you're just making it more competitive than the others. And so if you add any type of chemicals or whatever, it may help with the competition, but it also will start decaying your tree a lot faster. And so I was just wanting to let y'all know how to do it. If you want to know how to do it, ask me. I'm learning as I go. And to me, everybody else, this would be hard. To me, it's easy. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. And so if you holler at me, comment at the bottom, hit me up. I'll see y'all later.